What's up, guys? Coach Amir from SurfingYourBody.com. I've been a professional fitness coach for the last 16 years, worked specifically with entrepreneurs, and have helped transform over 1,200 of them so far. And in today's video, finally, we're going to talk about the biggest fad of the last couple of years, carnivore diet. What is it? What are the pros and cons of it? And finally, should you be on it? Should you try carnivore diet? Let's go into it. All right, guys, so you've probably heard, unless you've been living under a rock, carnivore diet is a diet that emphasizes meat and animal based products, and that is the only thing you eat. You can't have any carbs, you cannot have any vegetables, no fruit, nothing. It's just meat all day, every day. Now, if you thought to yourself, like you actually thought about it for a second and said, okay, God, universe, nature, whatever you believe in, gave us in the nature where we're supposed to live, gave us, animals, meaning we can actually get meat and get protein and fat from the meat, gave us vegetables that are also out there in the nature and fruit out there in the nature. That's where we're supposed to live and thrive on, survive and thrive on. And then somebody comes now and says, okay, vegetables, fruit, bad for you. You're like, wait, what? How can it be bad? It's got all minerals and vitamins and fiber, all the things we need. Nope, bad for you. How is this possible if somebody comes up with something this stupid? Well, remember, number one thing as an entrepreneur that you should know is that all diets out there try to cut your calories while telling you that calories don't matter. That is the golden truth. As an entrepreneur, you should know that because I don't want you to be fooled. The masses out there can be fooled. Unfortunately, I would like to help them too, but whether I can or cannot, another story. What I want you is to not be fooled. If you're watching this channel, follow me anywhere on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, watching this video, I want you to not be one of the masses falling for every, stupid thing that comes up. And certainly every day we have something dumber than the other day. Okay, so that's what carnivore diet is. You just eat meat all day long and animal products. You can eat cheese, butter, steaks all day, every day. Okay, what are the pros? Guys, just like anything out there, it's not all bad. Here are the pros of carnivore diet. Number one, somebody's actually wanting to lose weight, so they're doing something compared to, I don't want to do anything. That's a pro. That's a pro of this diet, just like is for any other diet, right? Number one thing within that, though, is they're likely to eat more protein if they go on this diet compared to what they're normally eating. Irregular, because remember, guys, why is everybody overweight? Because they eat too many overall calories. These overall calories, like an average person today eats 600 to 1,000 calories per day more than we used to eat 50 years ago. And 50 years ago, we used to move more and burn more calories through overall activity than we do today. So we're more sedentary today and we eat 600 to 1,000 calories a day more than we did. Any surprise why everybody's overweight? Now, let's go into these 600 to 1,000 extra calories. Where are they coming from? We know where they're coming from. People are overeating both fats and carbs and undereating protein. So are fats to blame that we're fat? No, in isolation. Are carbs to blame that we're fat? No, in isolation. We're overeating both of these, both fats and carbs, and actually people overeat fats more. Like higher percentage of these calories that we overeat come from fat than from carbs. But we certainly overeat in carbs too, and we undereat protein. Because of that, probably the only pro that I can come up with carnivore diet is people are going to eat more protein on carnivore diet than they would otherwise, which is very, very good for them in many ways. The number one thing that I do with all my clients is eat more protein first. Eat protein with every meal. Start every meal with protein. It is the most important macronutrient. If you were to live on one of the three, protein, fats, carbs, you would actually die the soonest if you didn't have any protein. Because the body doesn't have storage on it other than muscle. It has to break down muscle for you to get protein if you don't get any. We have infinite storage of fats. As we know, we can get, they're 1,000-pound over, individuals. And there's a storage of carbs as well in your muscles and liver. So there's no storage of protein, just muscle. You break down muscle if you don't eat enough. So that's the only pro that I can come up with. You are, well, two. One, you're actually doing something versus doing nothing. So you're on a diet, cool. And two, you're eating more protein. That's about it. Now let's talk about the cons, which are endless. Number one, it's a stupid fad that is so restricted and so restrictive that very few people can stick to that. Now, of course, one thing I haven't said in the beginning of this video, if you are a carnivore zealot already, like you are currently on a carnivore diet, you know it's the greatest thing ever in history of the world, this video is not for you. Yeah, I'll be very happy to hear all your comments below how I don't know anything, carnivore is the greatest ever, that's how we're supposed to eat. That's not how we're supposed to eat as humans. We are what? Are we carnivores or herbivores? Neither, you morons. We are omnivores. We're supposed to eat all of it. So when a carnivore zealot says, and by the way, guys, just so you know, it's not a day until a fat carnivore zealot tells me that I'm clueless. Just so you know, because I'm very vocal about all the fad diets, keto, carnivore, veganism, fasting, all stupid fads that for the vast majority of people are not sustainable for the rest of their life. Now, 1 out of 1,000 people who tries this diet can maybe stick to carnivore for 10 years. If you are that 1 out of 10,000 or 1,000 or whatever, very, 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 very minor percentage, awesome, go for it, great. Just let me ask you this, even in that case, let's say you are one of the 10,000 people who wants to have no life whatsoever, just want to, like, you can't have a beer, can't have a slice of pizza, a piece of chocolate, anything that you like that actually has carbs you can't have. If you want to have an apple, some moron came up, carnivore moron, that an apple is bad for you. Like, in what world is an apple bad for you? By the way, just so you know, guys, how do they come up with that vegetables are bad for you? Well, let's say you have broccoli, and some people have sensitivity or allergy to broccoli. Guess what they should do? Not eat broccoli. That person should not eat broccoli. Should we all, humanity, not eat broccoli if one person is allergic to it or sensitive to it? Well, you answer that question. No. No, of course not, right? But that is what they did. He said, hey, this person over here that is allergic to a certain vegetable, broccoli, name it, whatever type of peppers, cucumber, whatever, somebody's allergic to cucumber, therefore, the whole world should not eat vegetables at all. By the way, should that person who's allergic to cucumber, should they eat fruit and other vegetables, all the other vegetables that they're not allergic to? Of course, right? If you have a brain, you're like, well, of course. So for example, let's say you're lactose intolerant. You drink milk, you have a strong reaction. Should we, as population, all not drink milk, not consume any dairy products because that one person has it? Well, of course not. But that is exactly what carnivore zealots are proposing, right? Somebody's allergic to something, therefore, they should not have any vegetable ever again. And let's throw in fruit as well, because that's somehow bad for you as well. And let's not have any. And also, although humanity shouldn't have any either, because, so let's say if you are a person who can eat most vegetables and fruit without any issues, why would you not have them? Minerals, vitamins, low calories, high volume, the easiest food to lose weight and keep it off, the healthiest food you can eat, has fiber that's extremely healthy for your gut, keeps you satiated. The healthiest food genuinely in the world, lean protein and vegetables. That's it. If we all ate mostly leaner protein, vegetables and fruit, there would be no overweight people in this world. We would all live longer. We would be much healthier. We would be happier. All our lives would be better. Like what I do for a living, coaching entrepreneurs to go from overweight to top shape, this would not be needed. I would be out of this job. I'd be doing something else. Like, there would be no coaching, no supplements, no doctors. Like, we would not need any of that. And then there's a carnivore zealot saying, well, you don't need vegetables and fruit. They're bad for you, right? Like, what? Anyways, so cons, as I mentioned, all of these, and one big con that almost nobody talks about, now they started talking about and doing studies on keto diet because everybody tried keto diet, lost some weight, gained it all back, and now everybody's even fatter than before, as usual with all fat diets, carnivore included. Now they did the study recently that said being on a keto diet raises risks of heart disease and everything else. Why? By the way, does carnivore diet do that as well? Of course, because a lot of saturated fat, which I've done a video on saturated fat as well, how much should you eat it? Of it should you eat? Is it bad for you? Not good, not bad for you? In what scenario? Like I explained all of it in that video. Eating a lot of saturated fat can turn into free radicals, which are the initiation points for all kinds of diseases. Cardiovascular risk goes up, cancer cells potentially, all kinds of issue if you are overweight and the inflammation in your body is very high because you're overweight. A bunch of overweight people, by the way, who is going on diets? Overweight people, they're not going on a carnivore diet because they're in great shape. They're going on a diet because they're overweight and the inflammation is high. They're very unhealthy from the inside and therefore they're basically eat they're told to eat steaks 3 times a day. Steak, 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 bunch of eggs, bunch of butter, drink oil, like that's what you should eat all day. This is a formula for getting more sick and increasing your risk of cardiovascular diseases. Absolutely. So just a few cons, there's a ton more, but it's enough of these. Now, final question. Should you, as an entrepreneur, if you are overweight and want to be in better shape, if you have some health issues, health parameters are not ideal, maybe you have high cholesterol, high LDL, energy is low, all of these things that you get from being overweight, should you try carnivore diet? My answer is, of course not. Why? Because this is another fad. Guys, remember, in 1980s, there were low-fat diets. They said, fats are horrible for you, eat up all the carbs. Then all the people, basically the masses, right, fell for that, cut fats, eat a ton of, basically drink sugar, drink soda, eat candy, all that fine, as long as you cut fats. Everybody got really fat and we had an obesity epidemic. Now, what carnivore zealots love to say, we started eating carbs back then and we have an obesity epidemic. Guess what, carnivore zealots? We have an obesity epidemic today, worse than we had then. It's still worse. Like every year, more people are getting overweight. And we've been 25 years since we switched from fats are good to fats are bad to fats are good, right? So in the 80s, it was low-fat diets, carbs are great. In the early 2000s, it started being, no, we got it wrong. Fats are amazing, carbs are bad, and we've been for 25 years, we've been in the carbs are bad era of this industry. And what has happened in the last 25 years? People getting more overweight every single year. So we certainly still today have an obesity epidemic with all these low-carb diets. So guys, please remember, carbs are not the reason you're fat or overweight. Fats are not the reason. Overeating, both of these together, overeating is the reason we're all overweight and we're under-eating protein. That's the reason. So it's a stupid fad that's going to pass. Just like, by the way, do you know anybody doing keto today? Why? No. Why not? Because it's a fad that has come. People have tried, millions of people tried keto. Everybody bought books and products and keto cookies and keto bullshit, and everybody's still overweight. It's exactly the same thing that's going to happen with carnivore in a few years from today. Nobody's going to remember carnivore because another dumber fad's going to come up. Somebody's going to be like, well, we got it wrong with keto because it allowed a little bit of vegetables, which is bad for you. So we evolved into a dumber thing called carnivore. A few years from now, I don't know what's going to be, but it's going to be like, guys, we got it wrong. You know what? Eggs are actually really, really bad for you, or butter is bad, but meats are amazing. So you can only eat meats, but no products of animals. You can't have eggs, you can't have butter, you can't have dairy, you can just have actual meat, maybe, right? Or there's gonna be, the industry's gonna switch to say, hey, for 25 years, we've been on a carbs are bad era, and now everybody's still getting more overweight every year to year to year. Now we need to switch and say, hey, guys, no, we actually got it right in the 80s, we got it wrong in the 2000s, and now we know carbs are actually very, very, very awesome because they're low in calories. Fats are horrible. You just need to go low fat again and high carb, because that's what this industry over decades just switches from carbs are bad, eat all the fats, which we're still in now, to in the 80s, and then that's how it's going to go. Because what is there? Protein, fats, and carbs. Everybody other than vegans know that protein is amazing for you. So carbs and fats. One of these two has to be the villain, because what else are you going to sell people? Of course, the masses don't want to control their calories and learn to eat better. And then when you control the calories and protein, you can have any ratio of fats and carbs, your results will be identical. All of your health parameters, weight loss rate, everything's going to be the same. If you control the calories and protein, fats versus carbs ratio does not matter at all for anything. Now, you can implement that, but that requires, okay, so I'm going to actually control my food. I'm going to stop eating junk food 3 times a day, etc. Nobody wants to do that. So the masses need and want the next fad. So guys, that's what the carnivore diet, by the way, carnivore diet, if you know somebody right now doing carnivore diet is going to say, I lost 50 pounds on carnivore, it's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's pretty much like steroid user going on steroids, TRT user starting TRT. It's the greatest thing ever. Ask them in 3 months. Ask them in 6 months. Ask them a year from now. Where are they? Unfortunately, I'm really, really sad to see this, because I would love to see humanity not be overweight anymore. They will all regain the weight, because at some point they'll realize you can, theoretically you can, but this is where theory and practice don't match. In practical world, should you live the rest of your life without being able to have a piece of chocolate, without being able to have a banana, an apple, a slice of pizza, however small or big, potatoes, a cookie, anything that you actually like. Why would you live without that? Most people shouldn't and cannot, right? And if you learn how to control your calories and eat enough protein, then you can have any of these. Not all the time, obviously. The majority of food should be leaner proteins, vegetables, and fruit. That should be 80 to 90% of everybody's food forever. But then the other 10 to 20% can be pretty much anything without absolutely in any way negatively affecting your health or health parameters or increasing your risk of any diseases. So guys, that's my take on carnivore diet. If you have any questions or comments, by the way, very happy to heed this to see and interact with wonderful haters. Gonna be like, F you, I know that carnivore is the greatest, you have no clue. Of course, please put in the comments below. I love that too. But if you are a thinking entrepreneur and you actually are like, well, I was thinking about it because it's very popular, everybody's doing it, I don't know. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.